Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Michal, for giving us such a warm welcome and intro. My name is Kinga. I am a senior content marketing manager at PlayPlay, and I am excited to be moderating our first session of the day with Maury Rogow, the CEO of RIP Media Group, an agency that's all about speeding your sales cycles by bringing your stories to life. Maury, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm excited. I'm excited to meet everybody and work with everybody.
Amazing. Well, we're so excited to have you here with us today. And without further ado, I'm going to pass on the mic to you so you can help our audience explore the intricacies of brand narratives and the magic they bring to the table for their audience and brand. And to our audience, I just want to remind you once again that this should be fun and interactive. So please use the Q&A, please use the chat, and we will get as much engagement from you as possible and answer all your questions at the end. But anyway, Mari, are you ready to get started?
Happy to get started. Yes.
Amazing. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Mikhail, thank you. Great job. Hello to all the Miamis and South Floridas. This is my new home. So thank you. And I see a bunch of people popping up there. Please keep using the chat because 5 or 6 times, including right now, I'm about to ask you some questions. So I'd love to see your responses here. So what we're going to be talking about is your brand story. So I'd like to ask you, what's your favorite movie? Your favorite movie of all time, not just Christmas movies, favorite movie of all time. There we go. And favorite movie, if you can't think of one, there we go. Yes. Oh my God. These are some of my favorites. Princess Bride, Godfather, 300. Now we're talking Pulp. Oh, these are actually, this is like my top list. Anybody watching needs to write these down and watch these if you haven't. Xanadu. Okay. Now, favorite book. Let's switch to favorite book. What's favorite movie? Shawshank. Good one. Okay. Wow. Fantastic. Oh, my friend produced Fried Green Tomatoes, by the way, for the person that said that. So we have our favorite movie. We have our favorite book. Ready? Your favorite PowerPoint presentation. Wah, wah. Slows down, doesn't it? Because PowerPoint presentations aren't built for stories, but you are. You're built for stories. You're storytellers on this call. That's why we're here to improve ourselves today. The point is, PowerPoints, in a lot of the ways that we're sort of forced to do marketing, puts us in the spot to use bullet points. What we're going to do is transform that. In the next 25 minutes, I'm going to give you as much as I possibly can value-wise, so you can walk away today being able to tell a story in a different way, in a new way, using Hollywood narrative for my time in Hollywood for 15 years making movies, and more, and how we do it for brands, and we help brands grow. So your brand will thrive or die based on the story you tell. Look, if you look at our election, if you look at our news feeds, where we shop, we can find the messages that we want to hear. You know that your audience, your customers or prospects are going to different channels to find what they want to hear. So you need to match that message. So let's continue on here. We live in a story economy. We know that. And what's interesting is if you look at the economy right now and you look at history, more than half of the Fortune 500 companies that are in existence today started in a down economy. So our economy is very on edge right now. If you get your story straight now, you will come out thriving in 2024, 25, 26, and longer. So let's get into this. Today, you're going to walk away with 4 crucial areas to storytelling, why your story is vital, 10 rules. These are my 10 commandments to define your brand story. We're going to talk about the 5 most powerful emotional levers that you can use. I'm going to list them for you. We're going to talk about them. And then your takeaway, you'll be able to create your own fast pitch for your brand today. Now, real quick, who am I? You heard the quick intro. I launched high-tech products. We ended up selling our company to Cisco, and thank you for the encouragement on the chat. Please keep it coming. If you can look at the chart there, you see I started in high tech. I was in sales and business development, then owned regions for marketing and sales. So it was combination roles back then. And after we sold our company to Cisco, I moved to Hollywood to produce movies. I said, if I can tell a brand story that's, selling multi-million-dollar packages, I can do this for anything. So I ended up diving in and relearning a lot, really going to study and, met with directors, producers, actors, everyone. How do you tell these stories? So I did it for years, and then I produced movies. And some of the movies that you're going to see here, movies and TV shows, I was either in or worked on. or produced. So a couple of them there, Ocean's 13. I was on set with, Matt Damon and Brad Pitt and George Clooney and the rest. I actually was a winner on Deal or No Deal. And when there's another time, I'll tell you that story, because it truly is the ability to tell a good story that got me onto that show and then actually helped me win on that show as well. I worked with the producer of The Dark Knight, which was really amazing as well. The Dark Knight actually won the Academy Award, and really tremendous lessons there. When I switched in 2010 to start telling brand stories, I brought what I learned in Hollywood to these brands and now hundreds more. But Cisco became a customer, Showtime itself. So B2B brands, B2C brands, consumer brands, Ben & Jerry's ice cream, and so on. So just quickly, that's who I am and where I came from. So hopefully you feel good about that. The problem for you today is your job is so much harder than it ever was, because the left side of the chart is pre-COVID and the right side is today. At the same time that people want to buy without help, right? You got to walk them through customer journeys, sales journeys, flywheels, and funnels. They want more value and service. They want more value with less touch. So that means your videos and your live interactions have to be excellent. They're only 70%, not only, but they are 70% of the sales cycle in most transactions now. And if you have inside or outside sales forces, the 30% that's left over, they've got to be exemplary. So what we do is make the great story that's your brand story and let that blend that throughout your organization so it comes out in your videos, in your content, and in the stories that your salespeople tell. Now let's take a look at this. Can you tell me what brands you respect, what brands you really like, and basically who's your favorite brands? If you could list that: Apple, beautiful; Netflix, a lot. I'm seeing more Apple. Chewy, very good. Audi, I wonder if some of you work at these companies. Rolls-Royce, fantastic. Patagonia, Roblox. Loving what I see here. Let me ask the next question. Can your favorite brands charge more? The answer is yes, exactly. Absolutely they can, because they have both a real value and perceived value that's higher than their competition. And the great thing is you've bought into their story. You're a part of their story. You know, like, and trust these brands. And that's what we want to do with your brand, who you represent today. So let me ask you this. What is a brand? You can answer this any way that you want to. Definition right out of Wikipedia, what you know, what you learned in school. What is a brand? It's a feeling. It's an existence your existence in the market, a feeling. A lot of people with a feeling. I like that. A promise, very solid. Personification, who you are. Customer's perception. Love the feedback. These are all fantastic. I am going to answer the question in the way that I normally do, which is your brand is what they say about you when you aren't in the room. That means your brand is left behind when you leave the room. It's what you leave, the story that you leave people with when you're not there, when they go to tell somebody else, when they go to their boss to say, I think we need to move forward with this company, or they tell their friend. Would you say, thank you? Would you say that you agree with that? What they say about you when you're not in the room, that's really your brand, both personal brand, but we're really talking about the public persona, the brand of your company. So are you leaving the best representation of you whenever you're out there marketing and selling? Now, take a look at our elections, our news feeds, where we shop. Do you think creating meaningful brand for your story is easy? Well, this quote says it's easy, but said nobody ever. Nobody ever says it's easy, because this is really difficult. And that's why I'm going to give you the lessons that we've used for the 1,200 brands that we've worked with, still are. We have the agency side, and then we have the learning side, the teaching side. We run workshops and help brands and marketers and salespeople. So on both sides, we're about to jump in here. So let's take a look at this. Your challenge is also an opportunity. That character that you see right there, that's Japanese for the word, for challenge, but it also means opportunity. And I love that, because anytime you see a challenge, there's always the best way out. When you see a crisis, it's also an opportunity. So right now, some brands are in crisis. Some brands are in a decision state. Look at it as an opportunity. It's a beautiful way to go. And it really affected me and how I do things and with our company and our customers. When you have your story, you know that it feeds everything. Hiring becomes easier because most people, especially the younger generations, they want to be part of a great story. When you're selling becomes more automatic, and you can automate it because it becomes your videos, obviously, your video marketing, your content, your pitch decks, social media feeds. When you have that strong voice, that's when you can roll out across your company and you build that strong brand. So I want to ask you now, what makes you unique? When I say you, in this case, let's talk about the brand that you work for. Or do you have, let's make it yes or no. Do you have unique stories? Maybe they're customer stories. Maybe they're areas that you can help with. Your client, your employer, your brand, your product, your service can help with that nobody else can. Does it make you stand apart? Yes. Don't think so. Nope. Exactly. Okay, good. That's why we're here. If you know everything, then I think you'll still learn some things. Okay, some mixed answers here. Great. What we want to do is find the pieces that make you stand apart. We want to find the areas that make your customers say, aha, oh, that's what you do. That's how I can deliver great value. So what we want to do is add value at every sales stage. And again, if you could with the yes or no, or maybe, do you add value? Do your stories add value at every sales stage? And I'll help you out with that. The sales stages, right, expanded. We talked about this. 70% of the sales cycle is done online, right? You can research, reach, find reviews. People can find that. 30% is done in the call center, inside sales, outside sales, customer support, customer experience, etc. But those top areas are all about what you do, the people on this call. So what's important here is looking at that: attract, capture, nurture, educate. The top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom, unaware to product aware or solution aware, and then fully aware, decision, and then growing the customers. Again, 70% is done without your sales team. So let's start working on fixing that. Your story can become your superpower. So hopefully you're taking notes, because this is the part that we're going to jump in. Really want you to do this. The only goal of a great story is to get the audience to ask, what happens next? Does that make sense? Again, I'm trying to simplify everything. The goal of great story is to get people to say, oh, what happens next? Well, how much is that? How can I learn more? How do I sell this internally? Can I bring that to my husband, my wife, whoever it is, the decision maker? The interesting part of stories are our brains, when you're really inside a story loop, our brains can't tell if it's real or pretend. And folks, it's science. It's science. It's our amygdala at work. Fight, flight, flee. If we're involved in a story, we know that different chemicals are being released. Dopamine hits. Cortisol is going for fight, flight, fear, etc. It's science. So how do we take what we're learning here from Hollywood and move it over into brand storytelling? This is what we're going to do. I'm going to do a quick fact check, and then we're going to dive into those 10 commandments of story. What was the first MP3 player on the market? Whoever gets it right, I'll send a free copy of my book to, by the way. Good for you. Zune, Rio, Sony. Here we go. First MP3 player on the market. Not Apple. Dell, Zune, Walkman. Very good. Well, Walkman, I see. Yeah. I'm going to go with 3 more, and boom. Here's the point. We don't remember because Steve Jobs walked on stage and told the greatest story that transformed his brand. You can put 1,000 songs in your pocket. That was revolutionary compared to all the competitors that were there before, talking about 32 megabit. 32 megabit, isn't that funny? But 32 megabit, 48 megabit, we have 100 megabit, we have a gigabit. There were speeds and feeds in how it was constructed. People didn't want that. People wanted to know, how does this affect me? How is this great in my life? 1,000 songs in my pocket, I got it. And he transformed the industry. So one story transformed that industry. So let's get into the 10 commandments of great stories to help you define your voice, define your brand. First, know your audience. Do you think you can sell all things to all people? Did Facebook start off with half the world on their different platforms? No. Started off with one university in the upper Northeast. Very elite, moved to another. Define an audience, win that audience, and then expand. It's not just for your whole brand, but different products that you sell can win individual niches, and that's extremely important. Know your audience. You've got to disrupt. In today's market, you've got to stop the scroll, right? You've got to do something that stands out and stands apart and disrupt the pattern. You've got to be a pattern interrupt. You've got to create a pattern interrupt. We want to, number 3, sell the whole, not the drill. Again, I like to use simple language, simplified, but the lessons here are very complex, right? You've got to sell the result. You're not selling the product. You're selling the result that the product delivers. On the consumer side, perhaps it's makes me stronger, faster, healthier, thinner, smarter. On the business side, more efficient, more effective, ready for promotion, that sort of thing. So talk about the result, not the drill itself. Focus on the experience, because features are not an experience. Few people care about how the roller coaster was built. We all just want to ride. We want an experience, right? Number 5, those stakes have to be high. If it's not important to you, if it's not vital to you, it is not going to be vital to your customers or prospects to buy. Remember, you're competing with everything from TikTok feeds to Fox and CNN that have a scroll going on. Everything is high stakes. Everything at every moment is high stakes if you turn on those channels. Number 6, please keep it short and shareable. KISS. Keep it short and shareable. That little guy has an attention span of 9 seconds. Most of us have an attention span now of 7. So think of yourself as doing intros, doing trailers, doing short pieces, short consumable content, both written, visual, and of course video. Number 7, are you using cliffhangers? Cliffhanger is an amazing, tool that we use in Hollywood and in part marketing to not give all the information away at once, to tease people to want more, to click on that next piece that will get me over to the Facebook page, that will bring me to LinkedIn, to bring me to the download. Open the question, open the story, but close the story in another spot so you can collect the information on them, their contact information. This is a little bit of a double, but conflict is interesting. Oh, I'm so sorry. Look over here. Simon Page. Sorry, guys. F10 Networks out of South Korea. Yes. Somebody looked that. So saith Google. Simon Page. You'll still get a copy of the book. So good job using Google there, but I'll go through the feed. Back to number 8, conflict. So if you're an underdog brand or if you're the market leader, both sides have an underdog story because you weren't always the market leader. If you look at GE, if you look at Coca-Cola, they still refer back to their humble beginnings in different stories, and the Clydesdale horses, and for Budweiser and this sort of thing. It's to relate to people. So the underdog is a really compelling story, and conflict against personal or professional conflict or competition is always compelling. Number 9, keep it relatable. Whatever you're selling out there, there's hundreds or thousands of people on this call. Can you do something to keep your story relatable? Kids, beautiful, keep it touching. Grandparents, family, how can you be relatable and not this big monolith, untouchable brand? It's a part of authenticity. And then 10, the 10th commandment, the ticking clock. Tension. You've got to build tension. Time is running out. You need a real reason for buyers to act now. Now, question time. Which of these brands do you recognize? Got 9 logos up here. Do you recognize these brands? I think you could do a yes or no. Duff, yes, Duff beer. None, yes, okay. I would think yes. Very good. Okay, the reason we recognize these is because they're attached to stories that we love. Duff beer is from Simpsons. Acme is from, Bugs Bunny, the Roadrunner and Coyote cartoons. Wayne Enterprises is the Wayne family that is Batman. Right? So Bruce Wayne, Dunder Mifflin, so TV. We know these because they're attached to great stories. You can be known and help your brand by attaching to great stories. So don't focus on yourself, focus on your customers, focus on that great story. So quickly, I'm going to run through them again. I would love to see which of these commandments spoke to you, meaning It spoke to you in a way that you could adopt that. That's something new, or some way, it's a way of looking at how you tell your brand story that you could change, alter, and help yourself and help the brand grow. So ticking clock, relatable, conflict and the underdog, cliffhangers, keep it short and simple, raise the stakes, focus on the experience, sell the result, disrupt, and knowing your audience. I'm going to go back through. Let's see what we have here. Good. Disrupt, sell the whole, not the drill. Great. Cliffhanger. Great. Yes, all these slides. I have these slides and workbooks for you at the end of this. So if you stay on for another, whatever it is, 10 minutes, we will be there and I will get these to you. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you all. Now, what sells? I talked about the emotional levers. So we talked about why story is important. Now we talked about the 10 commandments of story that you should adopt all of if you can, at least 7. Always shoot for 70% when you're trying to adopt new things. So what sells, logic or emotion? Emotion sells, logic validates. Beautiful, Simon. Definitely got to give this guy a gold star for the day. Mix them all in. Excellent, Laura. Cindy, yes, emotion. So let's talk about the 5 most important emotions. And I got this by looking at every scene that we were writing for movies. And I learned this especially from the producer of The Dark Knight, the Batman films, all of them. Produced all of them. Every scene needs to be vital or it's cut. If it doesn't move the story forward, it's cut. And inside of each, now there's tons of emotions, but I categorize these to make it memorable. I call it the stuff, right? Is it sexy? Does it sizzle? Is it seductive? Is it visually amazing? How can you tell a story that elicits an emotion of appeal, of sizzle, of something really exciting? That's the S. T, touching. I use those little babies in the slide a little bit before to try to touch your heart just a little bit. Maybe it's a niece, maybe it's a nephew, maybe it's your child. Maybe it was 20 years ago with your child. Maybe it's your future kid. Touching. And then the interesting part of touching is also inspiration and inspiring. So if you can inspire, now the Olympics are coming next year. We're about to see a lot of inspiring stories coming out because we realize just the medal count, who wins the most gold, silver, bronze medals, isn't the most interesting. What's interesting is those hardship stories where people came through struggles and they overcame, and they're training. And if they win the gold medal, we're attached, we're relating to them. And the networks have figured that out. U, unique and unexpected. F, funny. If you can be funny, if you've got the talent, if you take the classes and you can use funny in your brands, it's a hit. The next one is fear. And the opposite, or sorry, the complement is fear of missing out, FOMO. Fear, can you induce a little bit of fear, missing out, or lack of security? Those are the 5 emotional levers. Now it's your turn. I'm going to put a couple slides up here so that you can use and combine these stories. Take what you learned today and you can use it later today and tomorrow in your pitch. This can actually be a Facebook post. This can be a social post of any kind. It could be your brand story overall. So we're going to take the audience. We're going to take the value that you add and we're going to add emotion. Now, first, the formula looks like this. Again, you will get these slides and you will get workbook pages as well at the end. I'm going to put a QR code up and a link as well. So I start off with the major challenge that you see in your customer's industry, not your industry, your customers. It's all about them. A major challenge. You've read about it. You've seen it. X is the problem you solve. Y is your target audience. And Z are those great results that they'll experience if they move forward with you. And if you remember at the beginning, I said most companies fail because they confuse their prospects and those prospects leave forever. So I solved that problem by creating stories and videos for companies like yours so they sell more and they get to be with their families again. So that's my elevator pitch or brand pitch for my company. So biggest challenge, solve the problems for them so they get a Z result. Here's what it looks like. Again, just for simplicity, I put this up for what we do, how we train companies and how we create videos and content for companies. That formula can be your key to success in so many different areas. You can use the problem statement up above to make social media posts. What's the problem in your industry? Like right now, it's Christmas time. I'm terrible at buying gifts. I need help. I don't want to say it. She's in the other room, but my wife, I'm not sure what I'm going to get her exactly. So if somebody can solve that pain, that problem, please let me know. And let me know in the poke the pain. You don't know what to get. Here's 25 of the best, Christmas items for your wife. That sort of thing. So you can poke that pain, and then you can also just go with those other pieces there. X, Y, and Z. And if anybody would like to take a shot here in the chat, I would love to see, your X, Y, and Z result if you can. I'm going to go back to the formula here. Major challenge in your market. X, the problem you solve, your target audience, and great results. I guarantee you. All right, I'm just going to keep on going here. Now it's your turn to connect. What we learned today, I'm starting to wrap up, and I'm going to give you access to all of this in just a moment. Why your story is vital. We covered that. Hopefully you understand and know that. You also now have 10 rules to help you define your brand story. You have the 5 most powerful emotional levers, and the takeaway, you actually have your fast pitch. So this is me. I operate a lot and put a lot of this information out on my LinkedIn feed. I would love it if you would reach out and connect to me. I'm going to put this up, and that QR code should work if you just point your phone at the screen. And what that'll do is bring up this link tree here. Whoops, where's that link tree? Maybe I passed it. There it is. It'll bring this up so you can download. First, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'll be sharing a lot of this. But you also get a free masterclass on how to tell stories across the customer journey. You get the workbook pages and a lot more. And I would love to connect with you. I truly appreciate the input. And let me get back to that QR code for you. And I'd like to switch it over and see if there's any questions.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Maury. This was an amazing presentation, and I've learned so much. You can also press the little banner at the bottom as well. It's clickable. So if you don't have your phone on you and you don't want to scan the code, you can do that too. So let's get quickly on some questions. So from Jen here, we have 12 challenges. So is each challenge a pitch?
Of course. Well, let me wherever Jen is, when you say you have 10 challenges, excuse me, was it 12 challenges?
12, yeah.
12 challenges. So depends on what we're talking about. If we're talking about brand story, your entire company, your entire brand, then you want to kind of simplify that, right? If you find some common themes in those 12, narrow it down. You can go to categories, right? These are personal challenges, and those personal challenges mean loss of time with family, for example. Or if it's work challenges, try to narrow it down, because 12 is a tremendous amount if you're talking about a brand story. But if you're talking about a product or a service in each one of those 12, then absolutely slightly different challenge, problem, and solution for each. And we have multinational companies that have some have hundreds of products. And I know some of the people on this call literally have thousands of products out there. So yes, you want to use those challenge statements and then use the X, Y, and Z format. Break it down to your, to what you can to what you can use best. Does that help?
Amazing. And I've got a question here from Anonymous, which received 8 votes. So I'm going to go for that one first. How do you recommend measuring the impact of storytelling on brand perception, customer engagement, and overall business outcome?
Wow, that's great. Okay, so thinking about the KPIs, thinking about the key performance indicators, what we're really talking about here is analytics. And I know that a lot of people on this call are pure creatives. You have to be looking at the audience and how they respond. So we look at analytics pretty much every single day for clients and for our own campaigns. So what we actually focus on is the actual engagements and the real replies, right? We're at about 70, 80% that are real, 20%, 30% that it's just people, noise, trying to get attention, sell their own, whatever that is. So you pay attention to the 70. So we really, really look at engagement, what's really working, not just a like, but who's really sharing, who's really giving an insightful comment, who's really adding some value or asking for more information. That helps you dive in. So looking at engagement, replies, as far as which tools, LinkedIn is getting better, but there are plugins that are, I think there's Shield and a couple others we've looked at as far as video, measuring video. A lot of tools out there from Vimeo to YouTube, and YouTube keeps, with being Google, they keep getting better. We've actually discovered a new one, Sprout Video. I have no affiliation with any of these, but I've actually found their analytics to be quite useful.
Great. Thank you so much, Maury. That's all we've got time for today. But what we will do is we will get all these questions and we'll make sure to get Maury to respond offline to you all as well. So thank you so much for all your time. You've been brilliant, and I'll see you in the next session. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.